Joining us now, Alamogordo Tigers head football coach A.J. Cisco. Coach, how you doing?
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate you having me. It's homecoming week, baby.
It is homecoming week, and obviously a busy week for everybody involved, but when we talk about this every year, you always talk up that you want the kids to have fun, enjoy the things that come with homecoming, along with obviously preparing for Friday night.
Yep, nothing's ever changed. It's the same thing. We had Powder Puff last night. Our guys are coaching. They got the volleyball game tonight. Our kids are playing. We want them to enjoy every aspect of it, but we tell our kids, just like I've told you before, homecoming doesn't happen unless there's a football game. Yeah. And the most important thing of the week is 7 o'clock on Friday.
Yeah. Unfortunately, didn't enjoy every aspect of last Friday night's game. That was, it's the same thing that we've talked about, I think, over the first 3 weeks. And, unfortunately, and I was talking about during the broadcast, with the exception of maybe one or two of those turnovers, every single one of them has happened in plus territory for you
Correct.
guys.
We charted that this weekend, and we are 8 for 9 turnovers in plus territory, and 7 of them are in the red zone. Yeah. So that's something we got to get corrected, and we've worked on it. We've addressed it, and it comes down to our kids and taking care of the football and being important to them to understand that we've got to come away with points and quit turning the ball over.
Because, I think you certainly look at last week's game, and you guys win that football game without the turnovers. The other weeks, Roswell, maybe, Deming certainly could be, but on Friday night, for sure, you guys win that football game.
It is, and that's just I'm tired of saying it, but it's young kids in that situation. We have a junior that lettered last year, but is now playing a new position that fumbled a snap. We have a sophomore fumble a fly sweep, going to the end zone, and then we throw a pick into the end zone right before halftime. And those are the things that just kill us. Because other than that, we kind of just had success with everything we did offensively, and those 3 drives are huge drives. That's 21 points we should come away with. Yeah. And defensively, it was just getting them off the field on 3rd and 4th down because, their quarterback he made some great plays on Friday night. He's a stud. He's a lot faster in person, and we thought he was fast, but I have no idea how Hernandez got him to go down on that first one he broke in the first quarter, because that kid can fly. And Albuquerque High is not Albuquerque High that they were 15 years ago, 10 years ago. Coach and I has done a great job. Those guys are big. They're physical. They have some athletes. They're well coached. They know who they are. They don't try to be something they're not. And we have to do a better job. We accomplished our goal. We got them behind the chains. We got them in long yardage situations, stuff they're not necessarily comfortable doing, and then we just couldn't get off the field. And it's not for a lack of us not being in position. We just didn't make the play when we had to, because we have guys where they're supposed to be, and they've got to be able to make that play in that moment.
Yeah. And I got to think maybe the biggest thing for the coaching staff right now is to try to keep confidence up, to keep, because it's one of those things, you have those 3 games in a row, and it could be easy to kind of get down on yourself and not have the right attitude. And I imagine that's one of the big things for you guys as you're building towards this week.
You do worry about it, and especially Friday night. That was such an emotional game. Our kids were really upset with how we didn't finish the job like we were supposed to. So you kind of worry about that. And the Saturday morning, it was we didn't have we had no doubt about it where our mindset was, because we had 37 kids show up at 6:30 in the morning to get on a bus for a JV game, and the other 40 kids were at film on time. And that just shows you what kind of men we're dealing with. They understand they were devastated, but everyone was where they're supposed to be, on time, where they're supposed to be, and ready to go. So that kind of just reassured us, hey, these kids are still ready to go. They understand what's ahead of them. They understand what our goals are, and we still have our goals that we can accomplish. And I couldn't be prouder of our young men for that.
Yeah. You guys get Piedra Vista this week. Solid Piedra Vista team. Picked up an early season win. Who did they beat?
Sandia.
Yeah, Sandia. Good night. Nice win to open up the year. And they've had a couple of tougher games the last couple of weeks, but played a very good Bloomfield team. Played a good team out of Durango, Colorado last week. But they will be certainly a big challenge for you guys coming in.
They will, and it's something different than we don't see. And that's one of the reasons why we schedule them, is we schedule them because they're a form of triple option, and we wanted to play that before we played Clovis. And now I don't know what Clovis is running more with the new head coach, but Coach Al at PV has done an outstanding job, him and his staff, over the last 10, 15 years of getting that team to being competitive on a state level and competing for state championships. And you go 2-3 years ago, they were playing Artesia for a state championship in 5A. That's how good of a program they are, and how far they've come in a long time. And that's the credit to Coach Allen and the staff. And they got tough kids, man. They're big, they're fast, they're good at what they do. And it's the same thing I said about Albuquerque High. They don't try to be somebody or not. They're going to line up and they're going to run triple option at us. And when they can't run that, they're going to run belly. And they love running belly.
Yeah. And so for the defense and getting the kids ready for that this week, is that a huge transition, or have the kids adapted knowing what they've got to face this week?
It's a transition for sure, because it's something that you don't see all the time. And then there's a reason why high school teams run the triple, is you force a lot of 16, 17-year-old kids to be disciplined for 4 quarters, and that's not necessarily the easiest thing to do with teenagers. So, but you just don't see it very often. I mean, there's not a whole lot of programs in this state that are running it, and you can go to the college level and you don't see very many guys in the college level besides the military schools, the academies, that are running the triple like that. So it's definitely challenging. It's fun to watch. I know when I started breaking down film on Saturday with our defensive staff, I was excited as a kid in a candy store watching midline, veer, and belly. It was pretty cool. But it's one of those things that when we do this, like on today, we did an option drill with no ball. I mean, we don't have a football in it. It's every kid's got to do their assignment and go about it. And so that's the unique part of it, is we spent 25 minutes running a drill without a football. and that's something that you have to break everything down and force kids to understand that they're responsible for one thing and they got to trust the other 10 guys will do their job.
Yeah, it's all about assignments, and certainly we see that on special teams probably every single week, is knowing where your key is and all those kind of things. So, offensively, again, you guys move the football and you take away the turnovers. It's a different story. So you guys got to feel pretty confident about the fact that, you move the football well. First drive, the opening drive of the game was, superb. 2 plays, you're in the end zone. But even as the game progressed, you guys did a solid job last week. So trying to build on that again this week. As
always, and I thought we played pretty well on offense all 3 weeks. I mean, you can go to Roswell. We stuttered at times, but we had drives that we just didn't finish off. And then Deming, and last week we've had success. We moved the football, and then the turnovers have just bit us, and they come at the wrong time, and that's something that we've got to get over. We've got to finish drives, and our guys understand that we're good enough offensively and we're good enough up front that we're going to run the ball a lot and we're going to be really good at it and force people to do some things. And we want people to line up and, hey, we know what's coming, they know what's coming, and let's go get it, is our kind of mentality, that toughness we have. And it's an encouraging part that we know what we're doing and we're going to be good at it. It's now the executing part of taking care of the football. And the big thing we focus on this week is, if you go back all 3 weeks, there's a guy on every play that's kind of screwing up. And sometimes it bites us, sometimes it doesn't. Of getting 11 guys to say, this is the most important play right now, let's go play it. Play's done. Let's focus on this one. All 11 got to do the same thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. Piedra Vista makes the long road trip down here on Friday night, so it'll be fun night, homecoming, everything that surrounds that. So it's always a special evening for especially a single high school town when they have their homecoming on a Friday night. So we look forward to it. Coach, good luck this week.
I appreciate it, man. Go Tigers.